Shalani matunda kishaka kule Shoto mukebisa mulungu wapewe Baba ni mukurima Nalimu matai Shalani matunda kishaka kule Shoto mukebisa mulungu wapewe Baba ni mukurima, nalimu matai Shalani matunda kishaka kule Kishoto mukebesa mulungu wapewu Baba ni mukurima, nalimu matai Shalani matunda kishaka kule Kishoto mukebesa mulungu wapewu Baba ni mukurima, nalimu matai Shalani matunda kishaka kule Kishoto mukebesa mulungu wapewu Safari ya bamba ni machero 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 Bamba ni machero Safari ya bamba ni machero Bamba ni machero Safari ya bamba ni machero
gentlemen, distinguished delegates, I would like to humbly request that we all take our seats. Distinguished delegates, please, may we all take our seats, especially those who are standing in front. Protocol, please help us settle down the delegates so that we can begin our program for the day. Thank you. Distinguished delegates, His Excellency the Deputy President of the Republic of Kenya, Professor Kithure Kindiki, is on his way. We would like the hall to settle down so that we can begin. Kindly settle down, those who are in front. Protocol, please help us settle the delegates who are here so that we can begin our program. Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to Mombasa. Welcome to County 001 here in Kenya. We're so happy to see you. You all are looking wonderful, and we're great to have you here with us today. Please settle down so that we can begin our program. Protocol, please assist our delegates, especially those who are in front who haven't settled, haven't found a seat, so that we can begin in a few minutes' time. Thank you very much.
Safari ya bamba ni machero.
Nini kama le mutunga, safari ya bamba ni machero.
Safari ya bamba ni machero.
Nina mwana nini kahute mapenda, safari ya bamba ni machero.
Safari ya bamba ni machero.
Yes, safari lele, safari ya bamba ni machero.
Safari ya bamba ni machero.
Oh, safari safari ya bamba ni machero.
Safari ya bamba ni machero.
Yes, safari safari ya bamba ni machero.
Safari ya bamba ni machero.
Oh, safari safari ya bamba ni machero.
Safari ya bamba ni machero.
Yes, safari lele, safari ya bamba ni machero.
Safari ya bamba ni machero.
Nenda muda nini kama le mutunga, safari ya bamba ni machero.
Safari ya bamba ni machero.
Nenda muda nini kama le mikazija, safari ya bamba ni machero.
Safari ya bamba ni machero.
Nenda muda nenda kutana kikosho, safari ya bamba ni machero.
Safari ya bamba ni machero.
Nikitana kutana nikazija, safari ya bamba ni machero.
Safari ya bamba ni machero.
Nikitana malana kuni, safari ya bamba ni machero.
Safari ya bamba ni machero.
Kunda malana kuni, safari ya bamba ni machero.
Safari ya bamba ni machero.
Aya safari ya bamba ni
Safari ya bamba ni machero.
Oh, safari ya bamba ni machero.
Safari ya bamba ni machero.
Aya safari lele, safari ya bamba ni machero.
Safari ya bamba ni machero.
Kibola kukonda kuzana madafu, safari ya bamba ni machero.
Safari ya bamba ni machero.
Konda kwenda ni karena mutunga, safari ya bamba ni machero.
Safari ya bamba ni machero.
Tamani na mabenda, ni machero.
Safari ya bamba ni machero.
Aya ni machero, safari ya bamba ni machero.
Safari ya bamba ni machero.
Aya safari ya bamba,
Machero.
aya safari ya bamba,
Machero.
ya safari ya bamba,
Machero.
aya safari ya bamba,
Machero.
aya safari ya bamba,
Machero.
ya safari ya bamba,
Machero.
aya safari ya bamba.
Machero.
Safari ya bamba,
Machero.
ye safari ya bamba,
Machero.
ye safari ya bamba,
Machero.
o safari ya bamba,
Machero.
ye safari ya bamba,
Machero.
ye safari ya bamba,
Machero.
ye safari ya bamba,
Machero.
o safari ya bamba,
Machero.
ya bamba.
Machero.
Ye safari ya bamba.
Machero.
Ye safari ya bamba.
Machero.
Oh safari ya bamba.
Machero.
Ye safari ya bamba.
Machero.
Oh safari ya bamba. Ni machero. Jambo, jambo bwana, habari gani? Nzuri sana. Wageni wakaribishwa Kenya yetu, hakuna matata. Jambo, jambo bwana, habari gani? Nzuri sana. Wageni wakaribishwa Kenya yetu, hakuna matata. Jambo, jambo bwana, habari gani? Nzuri sana. Wageni wakaribishwa Kenya yetu, hakuna matata. Jambo, jambo bwana, habari gani? Nzuri sana. Wageni wakaribishwa Kenya yetu, hakuna matata. Jambo, jambo bwana, habari gani? Nzuri sana. Wageni wakaribishwa Kenya yetu, hakuna matata. Nchi yenye amani,
Hakuna matata.
furaha na upendo,
Hakuna matata.
amani na umoja.
Hakuna matata.
Nchi yenye amani,
Hakuna matata.
furaha na upendo,
Hakuna matata.
umoja na amani,
Hakuna matata.
furaha tele tele.
Hakuna matata.
Nchi yenye amani,
Hakuna matata.
upendo na umoja.
Hakuna matata.
Nchi yenye amani,
Hakuna matata.
Good morning once again, ladies and gentlemen, distinguished guests. For those who do not have the overlay passes, we have made arrangements for sitting spaces outside this hall where you can follow the proceedings through our big screens. So for those who are still standing, haven't found a place to sit, please go outside the hall. We have made enough ample spaces for our delegates to follow the proceedings that will be going on in this particular hall. All those who probably do not have overlay passes, kindly, or if you don't have a seat, because I can see quite a number of delegates who are standing behind and some in front. Please follow the proceedings from outside the hall. We have a huge tent, available ample seats, so that you can be able to follow the proceedings here in the morning. Kindly do that so that we can begin. I once again want to welcome all of you to the County of Mombasa. We call it County 001. Very shortly, we'll be beginning our program officially. This summit has brought together all of you delegates, leaders from across the globe, and we appreciate that you've made the time to be here in Kenya today to be able to discuss our ocean in this wonderful summit, this wonderful conference. For those who are still standing, I humbly request that we go outside. We have ample spaces, ample seats, so many spaces, so that we can be able to follow the proceedings from outside. Kindly, if you could follow those instructions, and then we can begin our discussions and our summit here today. Thank you.
Jamani, bahari yetu inapendeza, tunajivunia kesho yetu inang'ara. Twajivunia urithi wetu, twajivunia bahari yetu, kesho yetu inapendeza yoyoyoyo.
Kenya yetu, fahari yetu, Mungu ibariki Kenya yetu. Kenya yetu, fahari yetu, Mungu wetu ibariki Kenya. Kenya yetu, fahari yetu,
Mungu wetu ibariki Kenya. Kenya yetu, fahari yetu, Mungu wetu ibariki Kenya. Kenya yetu, fahari yetu, Mungu wetu ibariki Kenya. Kenya yetu, fahari yetu, Mungu wetu ibariki Kenya. Kenya yetu, fahari yetu, Mungu wetu ibariki Kenya. Kenya yetu, Kenya yetu, fahari yetu, Mungu wetu ibariki Kenya. 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 Kenya yetu, fahari yetu, Mungu wetu ibariki Kenya.
Good morning once again, distinguished delegates, ladies and gentlemen. Welcome to Mombasa County. Welcome to County 001. This is the 11th Our Ocean Conference, which is taking place here in Mombasa, Kenya. And it marks the first time this major global marine sustainability summit has been hosted on African soil, gathering thousands of leaders, stakeholders under the theme, Our Ocean, Our Heritage, and Our Future. Ladies and gentlemen, we're just about to begin our summit. I'd like to encourage all those who haven't been able to find a seat. We have plenty of seats outside this hall. There's a tent where we can view the proceedings as they go on here in this particular hall. Welcome once again, mabibi na mabwana. We say it in Kenya, habari gani mzuri sana. Sindio, eh? Can we do that again? Habari gani, which means it's a greeting. Hello, how are you? Habari gani mzuri sana. Habari gani mzuri sana. Okay, so let me greet you. Habari gani. I hear some of you are repeating habari gani. No. I'll say the greeting and you say it back to me, all right? Habari gani. Habari yako. Asante sana. Thank you so much for joining us here in Kenya today. I see many wonderful faces from across the globe. We're about to begin our summit. I'd like to request all those who still haven't found their seat, those who are standing at the back, we have plenty of spaces outside this hall. Very briefly, once His Excellency, the Deputy President, Professor Kithure Kindiki, arrives, I'd be requesting the photographers to have a minute or so to take their pictures, and then I'll request them to fall out to the back, all right? Not on the sides, not on the front, but to the back. Asante sana. Ladies and gentlemen, the Our Ocean Conference is a premier international platform that unites governments, the private sector, scientists, civil society, and youth to tackle critical challenges facing the marine environment. And since its inception in 2014, this conference has mobilized over 2,900 commitments and billions of dollars in pledges to protect marine ecosystems. Having said that, ladies and gentlemen, I think it is only in order that we recognize one wonderful gentleman who's behind the Our Ocean Conference. He is none other than the former Secretary of State of the United States of America, Mr. John F. Kerry, who's here with us. Let's give me a round of applause. Thank you. Thank you so much for your wonderful efforts in protecting the marine ecosystems. Indeed, we will all not be here today if it wasn't for your efforts started in 2014. It's been 12 short years, right? 12 short years, yeah? And we're still going, yeah? Asante sana. Thank you so much. The key areas that we're focusing in this summit today will be marine protected areas, sustainable blue economy, climate change, maritime security, sustainable fisheries, and marine pollution. And I know we're going to have a wonderful, wonderful session. Ladies and gentlemen, may I now please invite Mr. Michael Gitonga, the Secretary for State Functions. Welcome, sir.
A round of applause for Nimrod for a job well done. Thank you. Thank you for preparing the room. And mine is very simple. It's just to confirm that we are ready to begin. So we'll have His Excellency, the Deputy President, joining us in just a minute, literally. And as guided by my colleague there, Nimrod Tabu, we have already looked at the areas of focus, and we're expecting the program to be fairly swift as we get ourselves ready. I hope for our visitors, they've managed to learn one or two Swahili words. So if time allows, we might just teach you as we go along. But for now, I will request that we just get ourselves ready. I'm just waiting for the signal so that we be upstanding as we wait for His Excellency, the Deputy President, which will be happening in just a minute or so. And with that, we are ready to begin. Let's have the air conditioning at its peak. I think we are quite a number of nostrils in here. Therefore, we need as much fresh air as we can. So that's our program for today, and we're looking forward to a wonderful, wonderful opening ceremony. If we have DJ with some entertainment, let's have some background music as we now wait for His Excellency to walk in anytime now. Let us all be upstanding. Let us all be up on our feet as we have His Excellency, the Deputy President of the Republic of Kenya, Professor Abraham Kithure Kindiki. And let's put our hands together as we welcome him. That's something that we like to do in Kenya. Welcome with a clap, a warm clap. Welcome, Your Excellency. An honor to have you for this opening of the Ocean Conference. I'll request that we remain standing. We'll start with the two anthems, starting with the Kenya National Anthem, followed by the East African Anthem. The anthems. May we kindly take our seats. Your Excellency, Professor Abraham Kithure Kindiki, Deputy President of the Republic of Kenya. Your Excellency, John F. Kerry, founder of our Oceans Conference and former U.S. Secretary of State. The Cabinet Secretary for Mining, Blue Economy and Maritime Affairs, Honorable Ali Hassan Joho, all cabinet secretaries present, all governors present, led by Honorable Abdul Samad Sharif Nasir, our host governor in Mombasa, members of parliament, principal secretaries, led by Ms. Betsy Muthoni Njage, PS, State Department of Blue Economy and Fisheries, Your Excellency special envoys who have graced this occasion, representing various countries, Your Excellency ambassadors, high commissioners, leaders of delegation, captains of industry, stakeholders, and all invited guests. Your Excellency, with your permission, to start us off, Kenya is well known for its hospitality, culture, and as the younger people would call it, good vibes. So, we'll start with the Sengenya dance, a traditional dance of the Digo community of the larger Mijikenda. Mijikenda are found in the coastal region, and it is performed during happy occasions to celebrate major milestones, welcome honored visitors like yourselves, and mark moments of pride as Kenya shows off its beautiful culture and sheer beautiful coastal shoreline, which we hope our visitors will be able to interact with as they continue with this conference. This performance carries the spirit of resilience and pride of our coastal communities of Kenya and the welcoming hospitality of Kenyans. Why don't we put our hands together as they take the stage for a short piece of entertainment. Karibuni. A wonderful round of applause for our dancers. Your Excellency, the Deputy President, I noticed that John Kerry couldn't keep still. For a minute, I thought he was going to jump on stage. He seems to be getting into the good vibes of Kenya. Wonderful. Another round of applause for our wonderful team there. Thank you so much. Your Excellency, sir, with your permission, allow me to now invite Madam Betsy Modhoni Njagi, the PS State Department for Blue Economy and Fisheries, to just make some very brief welcoming remarks. I request that we encourage her with a clap as she comes to take her position. Welcome, Madam Betsy, for your remarks.
Thank you, Michael. Your Excellency, Honorable Professor Kithure Kindiki, the Deputy President of the Republic of Kenya, Honorable Cabinet Secretaries, Excellencies present, Governors, Honorable Ministers, Members of Parliament, Special Envoys, Captains of Industry, Development Partners, distinguished ladies and gentlemen. Good morning once again. Karibu Kenya, Karibu Mombasa. It's my great honor and privilege to welcome you to the 11th Our Ocean Conference, hosted here in the beautiful coastal city of Mombasa. We are deeply honored by your presence and grateful that you have joined us from across the world for this important gathering dedicated to advance ocean conservancy, sustainable development, and collective action for our shared future. Your Excellencies, allow me, because this was made possible with various partners, but on behalf of the Secretariat, I want to welcome Ms. Cynthia Balzuna, the Global Deputy Director of Ocean Program at the World Research Institute, which serves as the Secretariat of our Ocean Conference. Cynthia is a former Vice Minister of Water and Ocean Affairs of Costa Rica and has worked with various governments, international organizations, and partners around the world to convince them and advance on ocean action, sustainable ocean planning, and the implementation of ocean commitments. We appreciate her leadership and the continued support of the WRI in making the Ocean Conference a platform for meaningful global action. Welcome, Ms. Cynthia.
Waheshimiwa wageni na washiriki wote, Hamjambo. Excellencies, honorable ministers, distinguished delegates, partners, and colleagues, good morning, and thank you for being here. It is an honor to address you as we open the 11th Arosian Conference, hosted here in Kenya, the first Arosian Conference in African soil. On behalf of the World Resources Institute, it is our greatest joy to work alongside with the government of Kenya, and we would like to express our deepest appreciation for the government of Kenya, for its leadership, partnership, and commitment in bringing the global ocean community together at this important moment. I would especially like to recognize Principal Secretary Betsy Nyangi and the entire Kenyan organizing team across government for their tireless work, dedication, and partnership throughout our journey. Over many months, we have worked side by side with the Secretariat to transform ambition and bring to our Ocean Conference. The opening ceremony today is to celebrate all of the commitments made, and that will be, of course, shared in a few days. The strength of this conference is a reflection of the leadership and commitment. Since 2014, our Ocean Conference, when our Ocean Conference was mobilized, almost 3,000 commitments valued at 170 billion in pledge finance. This is no small number, this is no small commitment from everyone here in this room. But more importantly, the new pledges is actually the delivery of the commitments. That is what makes a difference for marine ecosystems and coastal communities. Last year alone, the Secretary released the first ever comprehensive report of implementation of OOC commitments, finding that nearly 80% of these commitments submitted through this conference are either complete or in progress. As the Secretary, WRI is committed to ensuring the Ocean Conference continues to drive the transition from announcements to action, while also promoting accountability, transparency from commitment makers. This is why this morning I'm pleased to announce 2 new reports that will be that have been commissioned by the government of Kenya and the group of countries that have previously hosted this Ocean Conference. The first is a new progress report update assessing the implementation of commitments across our OOC agenda from 2025 to 2026. I would particularly like to recognize Alex Lee Emery and Megan Cuddy, who authored the Global Progress Update and also co-authored the African Assessment. I would also like to recognize the Africa Report co-authors, Arthur Tuda, David Owura, George Waniki, Jacqueline Uku, and Rebecca Shirley. Over the past year, 285 new commitments were made. 174 existing commitments began to be delivered, and 70 commitments were completed. These commitments amount an additional 2.7 billion delivered through our Ocean Conference mechanism. In a time of increasingly contained funding, geopolitical instability, and diverse challenges demanding the attention of governments, the Ocean Conference continues to deliver and has shown the governments, civil society, and funders that this prioritizing has turned commitments into action. I am also pleased to announce that our first report focuses on a specific, this is the first time we do a specific geography, a regional assessment for Africa. Over the last year, the Secretariat team has worked with local research partners to review a self-reported data, undertaking surveys and interviews with organizations around the world to understand the landscape of voluntary commitments made by Africa. So I'm proud to say that the assessment shows 12% have made by African governments or organizations or implemented in Africa. Those commitments include 14.3 billion in pledged finance across the OOC action areas. 40% of those commitments are complete, 38% are in progress, so only 22 standing, but closely reflecting progress being made. These commitments also reflect Africa's most critical ocean priorities, with commitments related to IUU fishing and the sustainable blue economy topping the list. As we bring this event to Africa for the first time, we look forward growing the participation of African governments and organizations in the process and seeing commitments data set reflect the impressive diversity of the ocean solutions being implemented across the continent. This is a key moment to shine a spotlight on the expertise, innovation, action, and ambitious commitments being made by African government and organizations. Commitments that were successfully implemented shared a few conditions: inclusive approach, build on local expertise and capacity, and most importantly, commitments makers contended with securing long-term accessible finance. Many commitments undertaken by African organizations rely on short-term project-based finance, resulting in a patchwork of impacts on the ground rather than systemic, meaningful change for the ocean ecosystem and coastal communities. These findings, along with the wealth of other areas, other data shared in this report, provide a solid foundation and a key lessons learned to support effective, meaningful, and timely implementation of future commitments made by Africa. It feels especially appropriate that we usher in the second decade of our Ocean Conference here in Africa, home of the world's youngest population, the fastest growing blue economy, and diverse, abundant marine resources that offer solutions to climate change, food security, sustainable jobs, and much more. The future of our planet and our global ocean will be decided here. We look forward to continuing to the Ocean Conference to be a key platform to grow Africa's ocean ambition, unlock resources to sustain that work, and empower local leadership. Thank you. Asante sana.
Thank you, Ms. Cynthia. Your Excellencies, today we are also honored to have our ocean advocate, ocean ambassador, and Hollywood actress, Ms. Kate Walsh. Through her passionate advocacy for ocean conservation and sustainable fisheries, Kate has helped bring global attention to the critical importance of protecting our oceans and supporting the communities whose livelihoods depend on them. We are grateful for her to participate and support this important gathering. Ms. Kate Walsh, kindly, with your indulgence, kindly come and say a word to the people of Kenya.
Thank you. Good morning. I'm just going to say a quick hello because you're going to hear from me later, so I don't want to bore you too much, but I'm so grateful to be here in such esteemed company. I thank you. I can't say no to Betsy. She asked me again to make an impromptu hello, so here I am, but I have more to say later, so thank you so much. And yes.
Thank you, Ms. Kate Walsh. On behalf of the Kenyan government and the people of Kenya, I sincerely want to thank each one of you for taking time to be with us. As we engage in the meaningful dialogue, forge new partnership, and advance ambitious commitments over the coming days, we hope you will also experience the warmth of the Kenyan hospitality, the beauty of our coastline, and the richness of our culture and heritage. Our theme, our ocean, our heritage, our future. We wish you productive deliberations, successful outcomes, and a memorable stay in Kenya. Karibuni sana, and welcome to the 11th Our Ocean Conference. Thank you so much.
Thank you, PS Betsy. Thank you. Your Excellency, next I'll invite the governor for Mombasa, which is the county which we are in. And Mombasa has a famous saying that it's easy to come in, but very difficult to get out. And I'm sure he'll highlight on that. Let's put our hands together as we welcome Governor.
Your Excellency, Your Excellencies who are here, Karibuni Mombasa. I am here for two reasons. One, as your host, and two, as a major stakeholder within the oceans. As your host, first of all, a few tidying up that we need to be able to clear on. One, we have been able to arrange for shuttle buses for all of you, and we've got chaperones for each and every one of you in case over the time that you're not required, you do not have to just be sleeping in your beds. You can be able to enjoy Mombasa, and we're going to be able to take care of you during that stay. Two, there is a certain piece of legislation I know me and the Deputy President have not yet been able to agree in IBEC, and we have one simple law that Mombasa wants to be able to put into place, and that is to ensure that when you come to Mombasa, please make sure you finish all your money in Mombasa. It's something we take pretty seriously here. I am also here to be able to recognize the other leaders who are here. We've got Otichelo Wilberforce, the governor of Vihiga, the governor of Lamu, Isa Timami, Governor Mungaro from Kilifi, Governor Godana from Tana River, and my brother, Governor Modime from Taita. We also have quite a number of members of parliament. I want to congratulate my brother Hassan and the whole ministry for pulling this through. We have members of parliament from different parts of the political divide in this country, united for one particular cause, and that is ensuring that our oceans are going to be in safer hands. Maybe just by a wave of hands, the members of parliament. There you go. And I want to personally, this is a personal recognition, I want to recognize the presence of our mother, Mama Ida Odinga, who is here, a special mother to a number of us. As I was, for the last 3 days, the Cabinet Secretary has always been asking me, what are you going to talk about when you get there? And I had a whole written speech. But looking at the faces that are here, I would prefer speaking from my heart, not speaking from something that has been prepared on my behalf. As many of us here, we grew up in the ocean. As a son of the ocean, I can still be able to remember the gulp of seawater when we were trying to swim in the ocean, the taste of seawater, the itchiness that your eyes get when you try and swim freestyle in the ocean, the sand in your hair. But something that is more memorable to me, Your Excellencies, is when I was growing up, we used to visit the old port of Mombasa. And at the old port of Mombasa, the sea that was there, one thing that is still visible in my imagination is the fact that we used to see tiny little coral fish swimming there. Over the years, my children have never been able to see that. My children have to go to a conserved area to be able to experience and witness what I was able to witness freehold. We cannot make excuses. This was caused by man's greed and man's ignorance. The onus is in all of us here, individually and collectively. And despite the burden of a very, very impatient population that we all govern, despite the burden that some of us comes from different political areas where laws govern us in different ways, we have a responsibility to be able to act and not act tomorrow, but to act now. As a county government of Mombasa, I'm glad to state we have worked with the shipping industry and the port industry, and I want to congratulate and thank the stakeholders. We, over the last 2 years, started managing waste that was coming out from the vessels. As we speak right now, whether it was by coincidence definitely not by design, but this week we're embarking on a very, very ambitious program to come up with waste segregation and recycling within the county of Mombasa, something that is definitely going to be reducing the waste that trickles down all the way to our oceans. We're working on handling hazardous waste so that we do not kill something that is to be enjoyed by the future generations. We're currently working on financing our beach management units and our fisher folk so that they can be able to do further and way more. I want to give a special thank you to His Excellency the President, who on his recent trip to Mombasa did make a pledge that we're following up on, and his team have been able to be accommodative on a $3 million investment in Mombasa to handle the sewer treatment that are going to be installed very soon. Now, we are all intertwined. Mombasa is proof that we are actually all intertwined. The reason why a number of you feel welcome when you come to Mombasa is because of the culture of who we are. We have a hint of the presence of each and every one of you. From ancient times when the dhows used to be able to come in from India, from China, from Oman, and from all other parts of the world, we have our presence felt in your countries as your presence is felt right here. And we need to be able to work so that our children might not necessarily see the coral fish that we saw. But I hope that our grandchildren and our great-grandchildren will be able to experience what a number of us were able to experience. And with those very many words, I hope that this conversation is going to be positive. We are here to be able to support you. And in the words of many Kenyans, if we are able to act today, future generations will say tutam. Karibu sana waziri, uweze kuongea na wageni wako. Welcome, His Excellency. Thank you very much, and all of you enjoy Mombasa. Thank you very much.
A round of applause for His Excellency, the Governor of Mombasa. And as I'd mentioned earlier, for our visitors, you may need to learn a few terms. I'm sure you've had one from His Excellency, the Governor, being two-term. Another one that you might need to learn is ni fire, see fire. But you'll be taught as we go along. For now, Your Excellency, allow me to invite the founder of our Oceans Conference and the 68th U.S. Secretary of State, former Special Envoy, Presidential Envoy for Climate, that's for the U.S., His Excellency John F. Kerry. Why don't we put our hands together as we welcome him? Welcome, sir. Welcome.
Good morning, everybody, and thank you very, very much for a generous welcome. Delighted to be here, Mr. Deputy President. We're delighted that you were able to make it, and we understand that the President is at the G7, where he's conducting important business, so we appreciate that very much. Distinguished friends, Cabinet Secretary Joe Ho, Governor Nasser, I'm a child like you of the ocean. I know what you're talking about. And I particularly want to thank the World Resources Institute and Cynthia Barzuna, who you heard from a moment ago, who's been stewarding this process so that we truly know what people are doing or not doing. And I think it's important. Now, I want you to know I'm scared stiff because somehow in the process of these last few years, I turned 80, and I don't know how that happened. I have no clue. I don't know how it happened, but what I'm doing now is not only trying to save the ocean, I'm trying to prove to people that 80 is the new 55. So stay with me, okay? I want to thank the government of Kenya profoundly for creating this event, which is the first ever Oceans Conference on African soil, as you heard earlier. And it's not because it's not because Kenya is arriving late to this challenge. In fact, Africa is helping to lead it, as you'll hear in a moment. 14 years ago, when we launched the Our Ocean Conference with President Obama and I was Secretary of State, I said something that, and I don't quote myself, but I said something that I think is important for all of us to focus on. And that is, and it's as true today as it was 14 years ago, we can't have a healthy planet unless you have a healthy ocean. It is linked inextricably together. And so, think about what the ocean does for us every single day. The ocean produces roughly half the oxygen that we breathe. It feeds more than 3 billion people. It supports the livelihoods, the jobs for hundreds of millions more people. And it carries approximately 80% of global trade, with some negative implications for what happens in the ocean. Perhaps most remarkably, my friends, the ocean absorbs roughly 90% of the excess heat that is trapped on the planet because of greenhouse gas emissions. About a quarter of the carbon pollution that humanity emits every single year, the ocean takes, consumes. In other words, the ocean has actually been acting as Earth's life support system. And it's been protecting us. And the question before us as we come here to Kenya for this important meeting is whether we are willing to protect the ocean in return. Because the ocean is sending us a very, very clear message. The science is no longer warning us about a future problem. The science is describing a present reality. Ocean temperatures have repeatedly reached record high levels. I mean, off the coast of Florida last year, 101 degrees Fahrenheit off Key West. That's the ocean. That's as hot as a hot tub, which has to be gas-fired in order to get to that heat. More than 1/3 of the world's fish stocks are harvested at biologically unsustainable levels. And scientists now estimate that roughly half the world's coral reefs are already lost or severely degraded. The vast majority of the remaining reefs could be at risk between the lifespan now of today's young people. And Africa has more young people than any other place. If we don't sort of take note of this, I don't have a bad metaphor, but putting your head in the sand and pretending it's not happening is not a solution. It's an invitation for disaster. And we see insurance companies pulling out now in various places in America. They won't insure homes that are by the sea because of sea level rise and the increased intensity of the storms. And we don't just care about the reefs because they're pretty to scuba dive on or to look at. We care because the reefs are essential spawning grounds, important to the life cycle of everything in the ocean. We also care that millions of tons of plastic, you saw it a few minutes ago on one of the photos here, millions of tons of plastic enter the ocean every single year, and it breaks down into microplastics. And almost every human being on the planet is taking microplastics into our bodies. Now, I can't prove it, but you might ask yourself the question of why there's so much more pancreatic cancer. Why is there so much more lung cancer and so forth? So we also care because millions of tons of that plastic is trapped in various parts of the ocean where it has no way to get out unless we take it out. The climate crisis is not only warming the ocean, it's changing its own chemistry more than it has been changed in millions of years. And it is we human beings who are either making the choice or choosing not to make a choice that is what is creating this crisis. None of this is happening in theory anymore. When I started working on this issue, Al Gore and I were young senators, our first term, in 1985, and Reagan was president. And we became involved because Jim Hansen, a NASA scientist, testified to us, this is happening. That was in 1986, 85. We all went to Rio. We went to various parts of the world, Kyoto, you name it, to negotiate. But too many people still push back and fight and throw money to the wrong side of this challenge. I have personally seen the cost of climate change because I've traveled the world. I went to Antarctica, I went to the Arctic, I went to Svalbard off Norway. I've been all around our planet. And I have seen the costs of climate change up close and personal. But I've also seen something else. I'm not here to scold. I'm not here to scare. Because I do believe we can still solve this problem. We still have the power to do it. And I've seen something else all around the world, and you're seeing it right here today in this meeting. Leadership, innovation, determination. Because while Africa has contributed the least of any part of the world to this crisis, it is increasingly now helping to lead the world's response. And that leadership is on display here and today, tomorrow, yesterday. That's why bringing our ocean to Mombasa is so important. Not simply because of geography, but because this coastline actually reminds us of something pretty fundamental. For centuries, long before climate summits and international conferences, the waters of the Indian Ocean connected Africa to the wider world through trade, culture, exchange. And the ocean has always connected us, my friends. The great poets of everybody's nation have always touched on the power of the ocean. The challenge before us is not a lack of knowledge. We know exactly what is happening. The challenge is whether political will can finally catch up with the science. Because every major issue governments are wrestling with today actually has an ocean dimension. Energy security, food security, economic growth, trade, national security, climate stability. And the ocean is not on the sidelines of the world's biggest challenges. It's at the center of them. And that's what makes these meetings exciting, the energy, the dynamic that you bring to the table. And as we look forward to COP31, one lesson really should be clear. The ocean can no longer be an afterthought in climate policy, and it has been. For decades, it has quietly absorbed our heat and our carbon. And I had the privilege of leading our negotiating team in Paris, in Glasgow, in Sharm el-Sheikh, and finally in Dubai. And we made the most bold statement of all in Dubai. We must transition away from fossil fuel so as to achieve the other things we need to achieve. That choice, my friends, must be reflected in the choices we offer our people, no matter what country you come from. The ocean can no longer be an afterthought. Now it must become central to our climate solutions. And that includes protecting and restoring blue carbon ecosystems, such as mangroves, seagrasses, coastal wetlands. These ecosystems can store several times more carbon per hectare than many terrestrial forests, while also protecting coastlines, sustaining fisheries, and strengthening local economies. So here's what I think the challenge is as you meet today and tomorrow and try to, by the way, as you lay out very specific things that each of you have chosen to do with real money on the table and real effort. First, we must make 30 by 30 real. Protecting 30% of the world's ocean by 2030 is not a slogan. It requires new marine protected areas, and the resources necessary to enforce them. It doesn't do any good just to stand up and say, well, we're creating a marine protected area here, but you don't protect it. In too many parts of the world, right now we're at about 3% of the world's announced marine protected areas are actually fully protected. About 10% we have covered in some way, which is great. It's a step forward. We made progress when we set aside the Ross Sea, and now we're working on the next steps. Thirdly, we must bring the High Seas Treaty from promise to practice. And the agreement represents one of the most important advances in ocean governance in a generation. Now governments must ratify it, and about 90 have, so it's in effect, but everybody needs to join in implementing it. Fourth, we must intensify the fight against illegal, unreported, and unregulated fishing, a practice that robs coastal communities of billions of dollars, a practice that undermines honest fishermen, and that threatens food security around the world. So finally, my friends, we must dramatically increase investment in resilience, adaptation, and blue carbon ecosystems. And nobody's happy that we have to do that, but the reality is if we don't do that, many more people are going to get hurt, and everybody's going to pay more in order to clean up the mess. Everything I just laid out is not an environmental goal. It's an economic goal. It's a security goal. It's a development goal. And yes, it's a climate goal. But when we launched this conference in 2014, we wanted more than speeches. We wanted people to come to the table with an announcement of specifically what they will do and when and how much it will cost. And that's what Cynthia Bazuna and the World Resources and others are looking at. We know what's happening now with this money. Some of this has gone to financial aid, some of it to programmatic assistance, some of it through businesses, philanthropies, scientists, civil society, have all initiated thousands of commitments, folks. 41% of these commitments have been completed. Tell me another conference that produces that kind of result. 41% are in progress, and only 18% are yet to commence. What's important is that we are tracking, the Secretariat is watching, helping, not punitively, but trying to reach out and help you be able to reach the goal and achieve what we want to achieve. So no one came to Mombasa to take a victory lap. The ocean continues to absorb roughly 90% of the excess heat that is generated by global climate change. It continues to feed more than 3 billion people. It continues to carry approximately 80% of all the trade, as I said. The question is whether we humans who present the problems that it faces, are going to do the things that we need to do to win this challenge. So let this conference be remembered, not simply as the first Our Ocean conference held in Africa. Let it be remembered as the conference that moved the world from commitments to implementation. The measure of our success is not going to be in speeches. It'll be in the reefs that we save. It'll be in the fisheries that we restore. It'll be in the mangroves that we protect or plant. The marine protected areas we establish and enforce. And the future we leave to the next generation. The ocean has been humanity's silent ally for generations. The time has come for humanity to become the ocean's ally, and strangely enough, in our own interest. The ocean has given humanity immeasurably more than we ever acknowledge. Now it's our turn to act on the ocean's behalf. Thank you.
Thank you, Your Excellency John F. Kerry, for highlighting the weight of this conference and also what needs to be achieved, and I'm sure it's going to be achieved. Your Excellency, the Deputy President, allow me to now invite the Cabinet Secretary for Mining, Blue Economy and Maritime Affairs, Honorable Ali Hassan Joho. A clap for him, please. Welcome, Waziri.
Your Excellency, Professor Kithure Kindiki, Deputy President of the Republic of Kenya, Excellencies, Honorable Ministers, Your Excellency, Governor of Mombasa, heads of delegation, representatives of international organizations, development partners, members of the diplomatic corps, private sector leaders, researchers and academia, youth delegates, distinguished guests. We in Kenya believe strongly on what our elders tell us. When an elder speaks, there is normally no debate, no argument. So by the new definition of age grouping from Secretary John Kerry, that the 80s are in the 50s, then I'm speaking to you as a teenager. Allow me, Your Excellency, to recognize my three colleagues, the Minister for Defense, Soipan Tuya, the Minister for Sports, Salim Mvurya, the Minister for East Africa Community, Beatrice School, and finally, my mother, Her Excellency, Dr. Aida Odinga. Excellencies, I take this early opportunity to welcome you all to Kenya and, sorry, Excellency. Also recognize my dear brother and colleague, Lee Kinyanjui, the Minister for Trade and Industrialization. Because there's rarely an opportunity like this, Your Excellency, allow me to breach protocol for 1 minute so that I can donate some of my time to my brother Lee to come and position Kenya on how we connect the ocean with trade, industrialization, and economic activities. Lee.
Thank you, the Honorable Hassan Joho, the Minister for Blue Economy. Allow me, Your Excellencies, to acknowledge our Deputy President, Professor Kithure Kindiki, the Secretary, John Kerry, and all the guests who are here observing all the protocol. Mine is very simple, is to say that for a long time, as has already been said, the blue economy and the oceans have not been given their due attention. And in particular, even here in Kenya, to also confirm that for the longest period, the issue around blue economy was within different departments of government and never consolidated. And I'm happy to see that over the last 4 years, we have since consolidated, we have a full ministry, and we have a policy so that we can realize the full potential of the blue economy. Allow me also to say that of the entire world, in Africa and in Europe and other places, proximity to the ocean is associated with wealth, especially in the West. The realization of how to extract wealth from the ocean, especially in the West and the Americas, is very high. However, in our continent, being next to the sea or the ocean is not an automatic ticket to wealth extraction. So again, as a continent, and also here in Kenya, we believe that there lies a huge opportunity for us to come together and put the oceans where they belong. And for that matter, allow me just to outline two issues. One is that Kenya has a 600-kilometer coastline, Within this coastline, there is fishing, there is logistics, there's everything. And within our plan for joining the entire continent in the Africa Free Trade Area, one of our biggest challenge is that it takes between 45 to 60 days to move a container from Mombasa to Ghana, whereas it will take 5 to 6 days to move it to the Middle East. So the area around transshipment and reducing cargo time and the cost of freight is going to be a major issue. And I'm happy to note Kenya, especially through our Lamu port, is keen to play this role. And we are therefore inviting the blue economy community into seeing how we can be able to work around this. Lastly, allow me to say that we are aware that, again, in the oceans are many hotels in terms of the cruise ships that we have there, the cargo, and this is a major employer across the world. Again, here for Kenya, I want to encourage our shipping companies that if you want the best tech, if you want the people in hospitality, if you want the people in any area you want to think of, we have institutions that have been aligned to ensure that we provide manpower for the ocean and the economy around that. And I think this is an area we want to work closely to build and bridge the gap that is there. Again, on last one, for Lamu, we have been in discussions with some of the shipbuilding companies, and we want to say that our deep sea port in Lamu is a huge opportunity waiting to be explored. It is deep enough for all the big ship builders that want to come, noting that across Africa, we have not been able to exploit that part. And I believe that part of those of you who are here, the companies that are here to look for opportunities, the shipping lines and everybody, this will be an opportunity for us to come together. Once again, I want to say my big thank you and welcome you to Kenya and Mombasa. Thank you.
Excellencies, I take this opportunity to welcome you all to Kenya and to the historic coastal city of Mombasa for the 11th Our Ocean Conference. We are deeply privileged to convene this global ocean community at such defining moment for our planet and our shared future. I extend our sincere appreciation to all our delegates, partners, institutions, and stakeholders who have joined us for this important global gathering. Ladies and gentlemen, we meet under the timely and powerful theme, our ocean, our heritage, our future. This theme reminds us that the ocean is not only a shared natural resource, but also a shared responsibility. Having been born and raised along Kenya's coastline, I have personally witnessed the profound connection between coastal communities and the ocean. For generations, the Indian Ocean has shaped our identity, sustained livelihoods, facilitated trade, inspired culture, and created opportunities for millions of people across our region. Unfortunately, today, the ocean faces unprecedented pressure from climate change, marine pollution, biodiversity loss, habitat degradation, unsustainable exploitation of marine resources, and illegal, unreported, unregulated fishing. These, however, pose critical opportunities for us to address immediate economic, social, and security aspects affecting livelihoods, food security, resilience, and sustainable development. Distinguished guests, cognizant of the above, the government of Kenya is undertaking deliberate measures to unlock the immense potential in our marine and aquatic resources while safeguarding them from future generations, through sustainable and science-based management approaches. Under the leadership of His Excellency, President William Samoei Ruto, Kenya has prioritized the blue economy as a key driver within its bottom-up economic transformation agenda. Ladies and gentlemen, as we gather here in Mombasa over the coming days, let this conference serve not only as a platform for dialogue, but also as a catalyst for measurable action and meaningful partnerships. The world expects bold leadership, practical solutions, and credible commitments that can accelerate the ocean action. I therefore wish to make a clarion call to all of us to accelerate implementation of the existing ocean commitments, establish a global blue economy investment facility for developing countries, blended finance mechanisms, increase investment and climate finance for ocean-based adaptation projects, accelerate implementation of the High Seas Biodiversity Agreement, strengthen regional fisheries management and action against IUU fishing. Additionally, we need to create an enabling investment environment for launching the Blue Bond and other resource mobilization strategies for the ocean investment. Kenya stands ready to work with all partners in advancing shared vision for healthy oceans, resilient communities, and sustainable prosperity. History will judge us not by the promise we make today, but by the actions we take to secure the future of our oceans. I wish to express my sincere gratitude to all development partners, sponsors, organizers, technical teams, stakeholders, and volunteers whose dedication and commitment have made this conference possible. I extend my special appreciation to the people of Mombasa, whose governor spoke from the heart. Later on, we will want to find a cardiologist to look at that heart. And we will leave to the commitment. But thank you, Governor, for hosting us. Yesterday, you took some of the delegates to some dance, even though you got them to dance, but you never danced. And that's why we'll find a cardiologist to look at your heart. I extend special appreciation to the people of Mombasa for their warm hospitality and continued stewardship of Kenya's coastal heritage. And once again, I warmly welcome you to Kenya and to Mombasa and wish you fruitful deliberations during this conference. Your Excellencies, they said, so there's a famous saying, it goes in Kiswahili, kuingia Mombasa ni harusi. Kutoka Mombasa ni matanga. And because, Your Excellency, you are a professor of law and a master in the British language, you will translate that for us when you come. Because it's very difficult for me to happily translate a FINRO situation, so you will do it better than all of us. Allow me now to request that we be upstanding as we welcome His Excellency Professor Kithure Kindiki to make some remarks. Karibu Mheshimiwa.
Please be seated and good morning. Wow, we are too many. We are very many, and this is great. That shows how important what we discuss here this morning is. Excellencies, heads of delegations, Secretary Kerry, the founder of our Ocean Conference, and all the senior leaders from governments, private sector, civil society, ladies and gentlemen, colleagues and friends. This morning I stand here on behalf of the President and our host, for those who are coming from outside this country. President William Ruto would have wanted to be here in person for this session, but is unable to do so because of scheduling constraints, but will be joining us before we leave this conference. So perhaps as we go towards closure tomorrow, he will be here physically, not just to interact with us, but also to be able to restate the commitment of this country and indeed the global community to the subject matter that brings us here today. And so because I have explained in what capacity I stand here, I'll be very limited and careful in the things I say. But allow me to just reaffirm what colleagues who have spoken here have said, how important the oceans are to the survival of our planet. And I think we all appreciate that science tells us that the survival of our planet and the survival of humanity has a very close and permanent relationship with the health of our oceans. And therefore, for me, our gathering here is also an opportunity for us to reflect on the pressure that exists and that continues to be exerted on the oceans. And pressure that is human-made. And if it is human-made pressure, it means it can be managed, can be controlled, and the human activity that has exerted environmental pressure on our oceans can be addressed for the reversal of some of the effects that are undermining the health of our oceans. And therefore, we must appreciate how unsustainable the situation as it is today is, and work towards implementation of a sustainability program. And as just been said by Secretary John Kerry and other speakers, moving to action and impact. Kenya has been associated with the global debates on the oceans for quite a bit of time. 50 years ago, Kenya took a very, very active role in the debates and the conversations that eventually culminated in the adoption of the UN Convention on the Law of the Sea in 1982 in the Montego Bay Conference. And that legal framework has helped to some extent to mitigate against anthropogenic pressures on the ocean, with commitments around pollution and also the management of the common spaces of the ocean, the common heritage of mankind and spaces that are beyond the national. Together with Japan and Canada, we hosted the Conference on Sustainable Blue Economy in Nairobi, co-hosted. In 2022, together with Portugal, we co-hosted in Lisbon the second UN Conference on the Oceans. And therefore, we are happy to be part of this ongoing conversation And I must say, therefore, the creation of a special ministry responsible for the blue economy and maritime affairs is not an accident, it's not an afterthought, but is a continuation of a long journey that this country has traveled in terms of focusing our attention as we look towards contributing to a healthier and safer environment and the oceans. I must commend Secretary Kerry, the founder of this initiative that brings us here today, and I hope this edition will meet to the standards of the dreams and aspirations of the founders of this initiative and will build on the successes of previous conferences to strengthen cooperation and accelerate implementation, to create synergy, and also to make sure that we promote policy coherence, boost scalability of action, and secure the positive impact that we look for. It has been said that we need to take care of our marine biodiversity and also manage the effects of climate change and protect sensitive marine ecosystems. And I don't think it is my space to speak about that because I know there are enough scientists and enough professionals in this field who can state this matter a little clearer. Allow me to say that in terms of situating what our obligation as this generation is on this subject matter, it has been said that we do not inherit the earth from our ancestors. Instead, we borrow it from our children. What this means, friends, is that we have an obligation as the current generation to return the ocean to our children cleaner, richer, and more resilient than we found it. That is how profound our obligation is. And ladies and gentlemen, I started by situating the context, which was that President Ruto would have wanted to physically open this conference because of its importance and its place, not just for Kenya, for this region, but also for the world. But again, it was not possible. Therefore, President Ruto, as a message for this session, even as we wait for him to come and join us physically before the end of this conference. Allow me, therefore, ladies and gentlemen, to leave it there for now and then request that we listen for 5 minutes the message of His Excellency President William Samoei Ruto, President of the Republic of Kenya, on occasion of this official opening of the 11th Oceans Conference and the high-level session that will be following immediately after this. Wapi makofi ya rais? Oh, sorry, I spoke in Swahili. I just said, Excellencies, let us listen to His Excellency the President. Thank you very much. I was not trying to interpret the Minister Joho's proverb, and you cannot delegate upwards, Minister. So if you have to delegate your responsibility, it has to to be to maybe to the next person. Am I right? Please. Where is the video?
Excellencies, distinguished delegates, investors, partners, and friends of the ocean. Hamjambo. Karibuni Kenya. Karibuni Mombasa. It is my honor to welcome you to the 11th Our Oceans Conference, the first ever held on African soil. Our theme is simple yet profound. Our ocean, our heritage, our future. For Kenya, the ocean is not a distant blue line on a map. It is who we are. Picture the shores of Mombasa before dawn. A fisherman pushes his boat into the tide. A trader traces routes her grandfather once sailed. A business owner inland depends on goods arriving through the port of Mombasa. A taxi driver hundreds of kilometers away relies on fuel that lands there. Different lives, different journeys, all connected by the ocean. Their stories remind us of a simple truth. The ocean is not only the livelihood of those who live beside it, it shapes the lives of millions who may never see it. Every container lifted at the port of Mombasa supports livelihoods in Nairobi, Kisumu, Kampala, Kigali, and beyond. As the gateway to landlocked nations across East and Central Africa, it connects millions of people to trade, opportunity, and growth. Our ocean powers industries, feeds families, protects our shores, and helps safeguard the planet. This is our shared inheritance. Yet today, that inheritance is under strain from warming seas, plastic pollution, illegal fishing, and the silent disappearance of life beneath the waves. Kenya is already at work. We are restoring mangroves, cleaning our waters, reforming fisheries, and strengthening ocean governance. We are opening the door to blue finance, science and innovation, so that conservation creates opportunity. To our partners, I have 3 requests. First, help us protect 30% of the ocean by 2030 with the financing, technology, and enforcement that meaningful protection demands. Second, invest in us. Bring capital that builds industries, dignifies work, and restores the ecosystems on which prosperity depends. Third, stand with us against illegal, unreported, and unregulated fishing, the theft that robs coastal communities, undermines legitimate enterprise, and threatens maritime security. We must also be honest about financing. The ocean cannot be protected on promises alone. Africa cannot be asked to shoulder the greatest burden of protecting what sustains the entire world. There is no better place for this gathering than Mombasa, a city that has connected peoples, cultures, and commerce across the Indian Ocean for more than 1,000 years. So let this conference inspire more than dialogue. Let it deliver new partnerships, new investment, real protection, and measurable action. When future generations ask what we did at this moment, let us be able to say we chose action over delay, partnership over division, and stewardship over neglect. The measure of our success will not be in what we say this week. It will be what we build together after we leave. Let us seize this moment. Asante sana. Karibu Kenya. Karibu Mombasa.
With the President having sent us his message, it is now my singular honor on his behalf once more to welcome all of you who have come from outside Kenya and to declare the 11th Ocean Conference officially open. Thank you.
Thank you, Your Excellency, the Deputy President, and also His Excellency for that wonderful opening speech. I'll request that you take our seats. His Excellency, the Deputy President, has been gracious enough to accord us a few more minutes to listen to Special Envoys, so allow me at this point to invite back the Cabinet Secretary for Mining, Blue Economy and Maritime Affairs to come and run that session. Karibu sana Waziri.
Your Excellency, we want to thank you very much for those very positive sentiments, and we're looking forward to turn that into action. Without much ado, Your Excellency, with your permission, I would like now to invite our dear friend, His Excellency Salah Ahmed Jama, Deputy Prime Minister of the Federal Republic of Somalia, to make some pronouncements.
Thank you very much, Minister. Excellencies, the Vice President of Kenya, Cabinet Ministers, heads of governments, envoys, scientists, and the larger public, and delegates that have gathered here today, greetings to you all. And it's a tremendous honor to be in this historic moment at this historic city of Mombasa, somewhat very familiar to where I come from, now the capital city of Somalia, Mogadishu. I also must begin by recognizing the leadership role of the President of Kenya, not only during this conference, but also the African Climate Summit, the Blue Economy, and many others that were held in this country, championing for better environment, climate, and ocean management in today's era in the African continent. Indeed, we are all delighted to have the great and young Kerry, Senator Kerry, with us, who is the inspiration for many generations to come when it comes to saving our planet, particularly attending to our oceans and seas. It's an honor to be in your presence, sir. I will not claim to be a teenager like my friend did. I wish I could, though. Excellencies, Africa is no longer a spectator in the ocean affairs. We're here to lead, to innovate, and to shape the solutions for a shared blue future that is sustainable and healthy. Indeed, the thematic areas that this conference will address today are all very relevant and timely. The regulation of illegal fishing, the preservation of the seas, the restoration of the coral reefs and mangroves, and the very biodiversity of our oceans is indeed intrinsically and instrumentally linked to our very survival as species and the planet. I have the honor to speak on behalf of the Federal Republic of Somalia a nation shaped by its seas and oceans. For Somalia, the ocean is not simply a resource. It is our history, our identity, our livelihood, and our future. With more than 3,300 plus kilometers of coastline, the largest in continental Africa, we surely have a role to play in improving the health of the oceans. Somalia stands at the heart of the West Indian Ocean ecosystem. The Somali Current supports one of the most productive marine environments in the region, rich in fisheries, biodiversity, coral reefs, and mangroves. Our exclusive economic zone covers more than 830,000 kilometers and has the potential to sustainably produce between 600,000 to 800,000 metric tons of fish annually. Yet much of Africa receives tuna and other fish products produced and processed at faraway places. So there is a potential to be part of the solution. For centuries, Somali sailors and merchants, just like those in the Sahel coast and Mombasa, connected the paths of Sayla, the ports of Sayla, Berbera, Mogadishu, Marka, and Barawe, and Kismayo to the Arabian Gulf, Persia, India, and all the way to China and beyond. Long before globalization became a modern concept, the Indian Ocean connected our people to the wider world. The challenge before us in Somalia, despite that history and potential, there is an immense promise. This immense promise remains under threat. Illegal, unreported, and unregulated fishing continues to deplete fish stocks, damage marine diversity, and undermine the livelihoods of coastal communities. Climate change is warming our oceans, degrading marine ecosystems, and threatening vulnerable coastal populations. The reoccurrence of droughts and disasters has become a norm, but that certainly is man-made, as has been explained here, and it can be also averted through sustainable management processes. The degradation of Somalia's coral reefs and mangroves and other aspects of the sea have been detrimental to our economy. These challenges do not stop at national borders. That's why our Oceans Conference matters here in the African continent. The health of Somalia's seas is inseparable from the health of the Western Indian Ocean. And therefore, collective action is what can help not only Somalia and Africa, but also the whole world. Therefore, for Somalia, this conference is more than a gathering. It's a platform for action, accountability, and cooperation. Unfortunately, the international media often depicts certain sensational stories that occur on the coasts of Africa, and sometimes even Hollywood might dramatize that in the production of movies. But other than scientists and dedicated people, the global media does not pay much attention to the disasters that are unfolding in the coasts of Africa, through dumping of toxic materials, and also the looting and the stealing of the livelihoods of the coastal communities. And that is where climate justice is very important. We take this very seriously as the current government of Somalia. We are rebuilding our marine institutions. We're strengthening marine security. We're modernizing fisheries governance because our ungovernable space become vulnerable and exposed to exploitation by illegal agents. We're investing in partnerships that can unlock immense potential of our blue economy. Our partnerships with Turkey, with the EAC, and regional and global institutions would certainly help us to demonstrate that things can be achieved through South-South cooperation. And together, we're strengthening fisheries surveillance in order to prevent illegal fishing. We're also investing in our maritime capacity, critical infrastructure. Yet we know that much more remains to be done. Never before has humanity possessed such clear understanding of the pressing issues facing our oceans, or such powerful tools to address them with the knowledge that we have today, and that comes with responsibility. Many have said that this should not be about speech, but rather about commitments from the countries, the governments, the communities, and all of us working collectively together. Today, I'm pleased to announce that Somalia's commitments under the 11th Our Oceans Conference. So hopefully by 2030, Somalia will strengthen maritime security and domain awareness through the implementation of our maritime resource security strategy and the establishment of a national maritime coordination center. We will significantly reduce illegal, unreported, and unregulated fishing through enhanced monitoring, surveillance, and vessel tracking and enforcement. Of course, as Senator Kerry has mentioned, it is estimated, according to scientists, that about 50% of the world's coral reefs and mangroves are almost lost, if not under imminent threat. Therefore, we hope to restore at least 10,000 hectares of mangroves and coastal ecosystems and establish the foundations for a national network of protected areas. We will develop and implement a national maritime litter action plan to reduce plastic pollution and improve waste management in coastal communities. We will invest in ocean science, marine research, and capacity building. According to our Minister of Fisheries here, in the coming years, we hope to invest about $500 million in sustainable blue economy as one of the biggest, ocean countries in Africa. Excellencies, for Somalia, ocean conservation and economic development are not competing priorities. A healthy ocean strengthens food security. A secure ocean attracts investment, and investment creates jobs and opportunity for our communities. It's part of our national development plan, it's part of our economic development plan, and it's part of our new state building agenda to invest in our maritime resources and to partner with the rest of the world so that we can mutually benefit. Of course, with our strategic location, we envision that we will be able to connect, as has been the case with the rest of the world, in a more sustainable business relationships. I will conclude with the following observations. Perhaps in the Western world today, the most pressing policy issue is about migration, or illegal migration, as they may call it. That is also something that has to do with what's happening in the seas and activities that are happening there. Hopefully, we all will join our efforts in finding common solutions to this common problem. And we thank the leadership, the global actors and regional actors, and Somalia will be a contributing member to finding solutions for these problems. Thank you very much.
Thank you very much, Your Excellency. With your permission, Your Excellency, allow me to invite the next speaker, but with a request. I humbly ask that we restrict ourselves to 5 minutes, because the Deputy President, my boss, has to attend to some other function. My boss has to attend to some other function. Allow me, Your Excellency, now to invite Mr. Constant Bonda, Minister for Foreign Affairs, Francophonie and Congolese abroad, Republic of Congo, to come and make some statement.
Excellences, Monsieur le Président de la République du Kenya, représenté ici par Son Excellence, Monsieur le Vice-président, Mesdames et Messieurs les représentants des chefs d'État et de gouvernement, Monsieur le sénateur John Kerry, champion de la cause des océans, Madame la directrice exécutive du Programme des Nations Unies pour l'environnement, Monsieur le commissaire de l'Union africaine, distingués délégués en vos rangs et qualités respectives, Mesdames et Messieurs, à Barigagne, c'est avec un grand honneur que je prends la parole au nom de son Excellence, Monsieur Denis Sassou Nguesso, président de la République du Congo, que des contraintes de calendrier ont empêché de prendre part personnellement à cette importante conférence. Permettez-moi avant tout d'exprimer ma profonde gratitude à son Excellence, Monsieur William Samoei Ruto, président de la République du Kenya, ainsi qu'au gouvernement et au peuple kényan pour l'accueil fraternel réservé à ma délégation depuis son arrivée dans ce beau pays. Excellences, Mesdames et Messieurs, pour la 11e année consécutive, nous voici réunis autour d'une même conviction, la santé des océans, qui conditionne l'équilibre climatique, la sécurité alimentaire, la biodiversité et la prospérité durable de nos nations. Le changement climatique, la perte accélérée de la biodiversité, la pollution marine, la pêche illicite, ainsi que les inégalités croissantes figurent parmi les défis majeurs auxquels la communauté internationale doit répondre avec lucidité, constance et détermination. Face à l'ampleur de ces menaces, nous devons privilégier des solutions intégrées, fondées sur la coopération, la science, la solidarité financière et la responsabilité partagée. C'est dans cet esprit que la République du Congo inscrit son action maritime dans une approche cohérente articulant protection du littoral, conservation de la biodiversité, lutte contre les activités illicites, gouvernance régionale et financement durable. Excellences, Mesdames et Messieurs, la République du Congo agit pour protéger son littoral face à l'érosion, à l'urbanisation non maîtrisée et aux pressions exercées sur les écosystèmes côtiers. Cette action repose notamment sur la création d'aires maritimes protégées et sur la mise en œuvre d'un plan d'action en faveur des mangroves, essentiel pour retenir les sédiments, préserver les habitats naturels et freiner l'érosion côtière. Ainsi, en 2022, 3 aires maritimes protégées couvrant plus de 4000 km², soit environ 12% de la zone économique exclusive du Congo, ont été créées. Excellences, Mesdames et Messieurs, la République du Congo s'investit énormément contre les pratiques qui menacent la durabilité des ressources marines, pour faire face à la pollution, à la piraterie, à la surpêche et à l'érosion côtière. Le gouvernement a mis en place en 2019 le Comité interministériel d'action en mer et dans les eaux continentales. Placée sous l'autorité du Premier ministre, cette instance assure la coordination des institutions nationales compétentes afin de protéger les ressources naturelles, d'améliorer la surveillance maritime, de soutenir la recherche scientifique et de promouvoir l'innovation technologique au service de l'économie bleue. Ces efforts nationaux requièrent l'appui constant des partenaires bilatéraux et multilatéraux. La protection de l'écosystème marin, la restauration du littoral et la prévention des pollutions exigent en effet des moyens techniques, humains et financiers à la hauteur des enjeux. C'est pourquoi mon pays envisage la création d'un institut de recherche océanographique appelé à renforcer la connaissance du milieu marin, à éclairer la décision publique et à accompagner des politiques de conservation. Sur le plan régional, le Congo participe aux côtés des autres États de la sous-région à la lutte contre la piraterie maritime et la pêche illicite dans le golfe de Guinée. Code de conduite adopté en 2013. Dans le prolongement de cette dynamique, les pays d'Afrique centrale ont mis en place le Fonds bleu pour le bassin du Congo, instrument financier destiné à soutenir la gestion durable des écosystèmes, la résilience climatique, la préservation de la biodiversité et la promotion d'une économie bleue et verte. Je saisis cette occasion pour renouveler l'appel de la République du Congo à la mobilisation des ressources nécessaires à l'opérationnalisation effective de ce fonds, outil indispensable à la préservation du bassin du Congo, deuxième poumon écologique de la planète. Pour conclure, Nous demeurons convaincus que les océans ne se porteront mieux que si nous faisons prévaloir l'esprit de coopération sur la fragmentation des efforts, la solidarité sur l'indifférence et l'action concrète sur les déclarations d'intention. La République du Congo formule donc le vœu que les travaux de cette 11e conférence de Mombasa débouchent sur des engagements ambitieux, mesurables et solitaires au service des générations présentes et futures. Mr. Vice President, allow me to say that Kenya means a lot for the Republic of Congo, for its President, His Excellency President Denis Sassou Nguesso, who in 2005 appointed one of your daughters as Gulu Ambassador for the Congo Forest, Professor Wangari Maathai. So we are very pleased to be here, and also to say that under the leadership of the Republic of Congo and Kenya, the African Union decided to devote the 3rd of March as the Wangari Maathai Day, African Environment Day. It's very important that all together, every 3rd of March, we celebrate that specific day to keep building on the legacy of Professor Maathai, and also to use that platform to promote our ocean, our heritage, and our future. Thank you very much.
Thank you, Your Excellency. Can I request for a timer over here? I see it's over there. Can you put it over here, please, in this screen? Your Excellency, with your permission, allow me now to invite His Excellency Ambassador Awudu Rafiu Enakanolaie. My friend, Your Excellency, that's almost like our Maasai name. The Honorable Minister for State for Foreign Affairs, Federal Republic of Nigeria. Welcome, my brother.
I have to stick my face on the timer to be sure I do not exceed the 5 minutes. His Excellency Professor Kinturu Kindiki, Deputy President of the Republic of Kenya, His Excellency Abdul Samad Sharif Nasuru, the Governor of Mombasa City County, Secretary John F. Kerry, founder of Ocean Conference and former U.S. Secretary of State, and Special Envoy on Climate Change, His Excellency the Cabinet Secretary Hassan Ali Joho, and other Cabinet Secretaries of Kenya here present, His Excellency Salah Ahmed Joma, the Prime Minister of the Republic of Somalia, Excellencies, colleagues, honorable ministers, distinguished ladies and gentlemen, invited guests, gentlemen and women of the press. I bring you warm greetings from my President, Bola Ahmed Tinubu, who had asked me to represent him on this occasion and to present this statement. I have no authority to alter it in any form or shape, and I'll proceed. On behalf of the government and people of the Federal Republic of Nigeria, I extend warm appreciation to the Republic of Kenya for hosting this 11th edition of our Ocean Conference. I also wish to express my profound appreciation to President William Ruto of Kenya for having invited us to this important conference and for the excellent facilities put at our disposal. This gathering reflects our shared determination to safeguard the oceans as a heritage for the present and future generations. Nigeria stands as a major maritime nation in Africa with governance over extensive coastal waterways covering about 853 kilometers and a vital stake in the Gulf of Guinea. Our ocean resources are central to food security, trade, energy, and the livelihood of Nigerians. For Nigeria, the ocean is not only a source of prosperity, but also a pillar of sovereignty, security, and climate resistance. We recognize that the health of our oceans directly determines the stability and prosperity of our continent. At the section of my administration in May of 2023, we decided to prioritize the blue economy by establishing a federal ministry dedicated to the blue economy and maritime affairs. Nigeria reaffirmed its commitment in this regard to United Nations Convention on Law of the Sea and the rule-based ocean governance. We call for stronger African collaboration to combat illegal, unreported, unregulated fishing, which determines food security and economic stability. Nigeria continues to invest in maritime domain awareness and safe surveillance to safeguard its waters. In this regard, we have launched a Blue Economy Action Plan to harness fisheries, shipping, and maritime tourism, including renewable energy as drivers of inclusive growth. We pledge to create 5 million new jobs based on the oceans by 2025, prioritizing youth and women, and to ensure that ocean industries uplift vulnerable coastal communities. We urge equitable financing and technology transfer to enable African coastal states to fully benefit from ocean-based industries. The immense maritime resources need to be fully harnessed as a major contribution to the growth of our GDPs and by extension, national development. Nigeria underscores that the climate ocean nexus, emphasizing adaptation for vulnerable coastal communities, we urge to expand maritime protected area by 2030, restore 50% of degraded mangroves, and champion a continental initiative to eliminate single-use plastics. In this regard, Nigeria called for global support to address marine pollution, which threatens the ecosystem and our livelihoods. Nigeria has demonstrated leadership in the Yaoundé architecture for Gulf of Guinea. We would like to stress the need for joint patrols, intelligence sharing, and regional frameworks to secure African waters. Maritime security is inseparable from food security, trade facilitation, and peace building. Through the adoption of modern technology and enhanced naval capability, Nigeria has significantly reduced incidents of piracy in the Gulf of Guinea, thereby removing major impediments to freedom of navigation and connected commercial shipping. Partnership and global collaboration is very key in this regard. Nigeria welcomes partnership with Kenya and other African coastal states to advance ocean diplomacy. We encourage collaboration with development banks and the private sector, as well as the civil society, to mobilize sustainable financing. We emphasize the importance of youth and women, once again, for their participation in ocean governance, ensuring inclusivity in decision-making, and the full exploration of the opportunities for employment, job creation in these categories. In closing, distinguished ladies and gentlemen, the Deputy President of Kenya, Nigeria has come to Mombasa with a very clear message. Our ocean is our common heritage, and its future depends on the collective action we take today. We stand ready to collaborate, to lead, and to contribute to building a continent where maritime sovereignty is respected, security is guaranteed, and prosperity is shared. Together, let us ensure that ocean remains a source of life, peace, and opportunities, not just for our generation, for generations yet unborn. Long live African unity and solidarity. Long live our oceans, and long live relations between the Federal Republic of Kenya and the Federal Republic of Nigeria. I thank you for your attention. That's the end of the message from my president.
Thank you very much, Your Excellency. Allow me now, Your Excellency, to invite Her Excellency, Dr. Amna bint Abdullah Al-Dahak Al-Shamsi, Minister for Climate Change and Environment, United Arab Emirates. Thank you very much.
Your Excellency, Professor Kithure Kindiki, Deputy President of the Republic of Kenya, Secretary John F. Kerry, the founder of our Ocean Conference, Excellencies, distinguished delegates, ladies and gentlemen, it is such a pleasure to be with you here this morning among this distinguished gathering in Mombasa. I would like to thank the government of Kenya for hosting us at the 11th Our Ocean Conference and for their warm hospitality as usual. And we commend Kenya's leadership in convening this very important conference on African soil for the first time. I have the honor to convey the greetings of His Highness Sheikh Mohammed bin Zayed Al Nahyan, the President of the United Arab Emirates, and to extend his best wishes for the success of this conference. The theme of this conference, Our Ocean, Our Heritage, Our Future, resonates deeply with the UAE, and we are a nation of sea surfers, pearl divers, and fishermen. The sea is an integral part of our heritage and our culture, and we understand very well that to protect the sea is to protect who we are and who we can be. Today, the marine environment remains a cornerstone in the UAE's national development, directly linked to our food security, our blue economy, and our long-term climate resilience. Our waters are a treasure trove of biodiversity, home to coral reefs, to seagrass meadows, to mangroves, fisheries, and a vast variety of unique underwater animal species. To safeguard this natural heritage, the UAE is blending ancient respect for the sea with technology and artificial intelligence. And just to give you a few examples of that, J1, our state-of-the-art marine research vessel, monitors deep water ecosystems and maps our marine resources with unprecedented precision. Furthermore, to accelerate our nature-based solution, which we rely greatly on to combat climate change, we have pioneered drone-assisted mangrove rehabilitation. Autonomous drones are mapping coastal terrain and planting seeds, rapidly expanding our carbon sequestration forests and supporting our net zero goals. This technology is a key catalyst in our ambitious national ambition to plant 100 million mangrove trees by 2030. We currently protect over 12% of our national water across 19 dedicated marine sanctuaries. And we are aggressively scaling this in line with the Global Biodiversity Framework. And as a member of Global Ocean Alliance and the High Ambition Coalition for Nature and People, we are consistently advancing our international efforts and partnerships that support ocean sustainability and biodiversity. Today, as a proud member of the Ocean Panel, we are also actively developing our national sustainable ocean plan to balance production and protection. Additionally, we are investing $10 million to establish the Mohammed bin Zayed and Joko Widodo International Mangrove Research Center in Indonesia, which will serve as a global hub for mangrove science and ocean innovation. To support the most vulnerable coastal areas and small island developing states, we are also dedicating a specialized track for ocean action and coastal resilience under the framework of the Mangrove Alliance for Climate, which currently have 47 countries as part of this alliance. Those countries represent 60% of the mangrove ecosystems around the world. Protecting our ocean requires action, and this is what we are here about, to form action from source to sea. And UAE has committed an additional $20 million to support riverine pollution reduction and strengthening waste management systems, helping to protect coastal lines and marine ecosystems right from the source. The challenges facing our oceans today are cross-border challenges that require collaboration among nations. And this is what we are here about today in our ocean conference. The UAE have played a pivotal role in convening world will to achieve the goals of protecting our environments. The UAE convened the global community at the IUCN World Conservation Congress in Abu Dhabi last year to discuss and forge solutions to protect biodiversity, including marine life. Later this year, from December 8th to 10th, the United Arab Emirates and Senegal will co-host the United Nations 2026 Water Conference in our capital in Abu Dhabi. The conference will advance action on sustainable water management, this closely linked to protecting marine and coastal ecosystems and strengthening the resilience of communities and economies that depend on healthy oceans and water resources. In Mombasa, here today, we reaffirm collectively our commitment moving from dialogue to delivery, as has been emphasized through all the speeches before me. Scaling ocean protection through shared science and diverse perspectives and proven actions, and making sure that we continue to bring hope to our future generations by preserving our oceans, the one ecosystem that brings the world together. Thank you.
Thank you, Your Excellency. May I request the following speakers or the next speakers to please try and manage 3 minutes. 3 minutes. My dear sister, Honorable Emilia Arthur, Minister for Fisheries and Aquaculture, Republic of Ghana. And in case you haven't realized, the timer is on that side, so you can be looking that way.
Your Excellencies, distinguished delegates, ladies and gentlemen, and my good friend, the Minister for Kenya. I stand here in my capacity as Minister for Fisheries and Aquaculture and also representative of His Excellency John Dramani Mahama, President of the Republic of Ghana, to this conference. And in those two capacities, Ghana speaks as follows. Our ocean is indeed our heritage and our future. It feeds us, provides jobs, and defines us, our past, our present, and future. Hence, our commitments and actions to improve its governance and security, including addressing IUU and enforcing transparency principles. Ladies and gentlemen, at the 9th Our Ocean Conference in Athens, Ghana committed to establishing the country's first marine protected area. Today, at the 11th Our Ocean Conference, the first ever to be held on African soil, and Senator Kerry, that moved commitments to implementation, I am proud to announce that Ghana has fulfilled that commitment. Clap for us. On 14th April 2026, Ghana officially established the Greater Cape 3 Points Marine Protected Area, covering nearly 704 square kilometers of one of our most important marine ecosystems. As Ghana's first ever marine protected area, it represents a major milestone in our journey towards science-based, inclusive, and sustainable ocean governance. This multiple-use protected area safeguards critical breeding and nursery grounds while supporting sustainable fisheries and coastal livelihoods. It was developed through extensive consultations with all stakeholders. In addition, Ghana has strengthened protection for small-scale fisheries by extending, through law, the inshore exclusion zone reserved for artisanal fishers from 6 to 12 nautical miles along our 550-kilometer coastline. We believe this must account to the 30-30 target. Building on these achievements and guided by the latest FAO State of World Fisheries and Aquaculture report, Ghana is pleased to announce a new commitment to develop aquaculture economic zones with a national investment of $20 million across the country. As part of Ghana's Blue Economy agenda, which encompasses both marine and inland water resources, these zones will promote sustainable fish production, attract investment. We are learning from Egypt so that the contribution of Africa's aquaculture to the globe will be more than the current 3% that we have. Today, Ghana is proud not only to report a promise fulfilled, but also to make a new commitment for the future, one that advances healthier oceans, productive inlands, and a resilient blue economy for generations to come. I'd like to say, as I take my seat, that Africa must stand together. We must work together. We must succeed together in this space. Thank you.
And as Africa, we are together. Your Excellency, Her Excellency Carmen do Sacramento Neto de Santos, Minister for Fisheries, Marine Republic of Angola.
Eu vou falar em português, por favor, queiram pôr nos canais que estão disponíveis. Sua Excelência Vice-Presidente do Quênia, Sua Excelência John Kerry, que nos traz aqui juntos, e o Sr. Governador desta cidade de Mombasa. Eu estou aqui para, em nome do Presidente João Manuel Gonçalves Lourenço, trazer uma palavra de Angola. Permitam-me, portanto, antes de tudo, felicitar o Governo e o povo da República do Quênia pela organização desta importante conferência que se chama O Nosso Oceano, o Nosso Património e o Nosso Futuro, e que reflete a responsabilidade comum perante as gerações presentes e futuras. A realização desta conferência, pela primeira vez em solo do continente africano, reveste-se de especial significado político. Representa, pois, o reconhecimento da centralidade de África na governação sustentável dos oceanos e reflete a confirmação que o futuro da agenda oceânica global depende da capacidade dos países africanos. Para Angola, um país atlântico, o oceano constitui uma dimensão essencial para a soberania da segurança alimentar. O mar é parte integrante da nossa história e da nossa identidade e reflete para nós, no nosso quadro estratégico e institucional, a governação do mar, pelo que nós destacamos a estratégia do mar, a estratégia do Mar de Angola para 2030 e o ordenamento do espaço marinho. Angola assume a sua condição de Estado costeiro atlântico, com uma responsabilidade estratégica, fazendo com que a proteção dos ecossistemas, a mobilização do investimento azul, exijam maior coordenação entre todos os Estados africanos e organizações regionais, assim como todos os parceiros internacionais. Excelências, a sustentabilidade dos oceanos exige políticas públicas sólidas, ciência, cooperação e capacidade de implementação. Angola reconhece que os desafios afetam os mares e os oceanos são complexos e interligados. As alterações climáticas, a acidificação dos oceanos, a erosão costeira, a perda da biodiversidade, a poluição marinha e a pressão sobre os recursos pesqueiros, a pesca ilegal, não declarada, não regulamentada, ultrapassam fronteiras nacionais e exigem respostas coordenadas. Neste contexto, Angola reafirma o seu compromisso com a Agenda 2030, em particular com o Objetivo do Desenvolvimento Sustentável. Estamos igualmente empenhados em promover a economia azul sustentável, a pesca e a aquicultura, para que tenhamos desenvolvido um papel central. Angola proclama aqui que tem seguido com particular interesse os avanços da governação internacional dos oceanos, incluindo o atual acordo sobre a conservação e a utilização sustentável da biodiversidade marinha das áreas além da jurisdição nacional, conhecido como BBNJ. Este acordo vai trazer uma implementação efetiva em maior capacidade científica dos países. Ainda, Angola aqui afirma-se na linha da frente dos países africanos como o país que irá acolher a terceira edição da África, da economia azul africana, que é a Blue Economy Week, a BIO 2026, que terá lugar de 22 a 25 de julho na cidade de Luanda, em que convido-vos a todos vós a estar presentes. Este importante fórum vai reunir decisões políticas, políticos, vão estar especialistas, investigadores e de investimento. Termino, excelências, no quadro desta conferência, a Ocean Angola reafirma a sua determinação de transformar prioridades nacionais em ações mensuráveis, parcerias efetivas e compromissos orientados. Assim, assumimos os nossos compromissos para que o futuro dos oceanos possam depender da nossa capacidade política de transformação. Angola reafirma nesta conferência o seu firme compromisso com a proteção dos oceanos, a utilização sustentável dos recursos marinhos, a gestão responsável das pescas, a promoção da ciência oceânica, o desenvolvimento da economia azul, sustentável e o fortalecimento do multilateralismo. Que esta conferência, realizada pela primeira vez em solo de África, marque uma nova responsabilidade partilhada. Que o oceano seja protegido como património comum, governado com ciência e transformado em fonte de prosperidade sustentável para os nossos povos. Thank you, merci beaucoup, gracias, muito obrigada. Com licença.
Her Excellency Carmen do Sacramento Neto de Santos, obrigado. Your Excellency, just two more national statements and we'll be concluding. Allow me now to invite His Excellency Robert Mito Albino, Minister of Agriculture, Environment, Fisheries, the Republic of Mozambique. Just to remind Your Excellency, the timer is on your left.
Sua Excelência, Vice-Presidente do Quênia, Sua Excelência, todos os presentes, todo o protocolo observado. É uma grande honra para Moçambique poder partilhar este espaço e poder também reafirmar o seu compromisso com a agenda de defesa dos nossos oceanos. Para Moçambique, os oceanos são parte da sua história, são parte da sua economia. É por isso que nós nos consideramos um dos grandes países costeiros, com mais de 2.700 quilômetros de costa marítima. Viemos aqui para esta 11ª conferência com duas mensagens. A primeira mensagem é que reiteramos o nosso compromisso com a conservação marinha. Já estivemos a discutir ontem com os nossos parceiros da Commonwealth e da SADC e reafirmamos aqui nesta plenária que vamos cumprir com o nosso compromisso de até 2030, pelo menos atingir 12,5% da conservação marinha. Para isso acontecer, claro que vai ser um trabalho não só do nosso país, do nosso governo, das nossas autoridades, mas uma grande parceria ao nível da SADC, uma grande parceria ao nível regional. A segunda mensagem que trazemos para esta conferência é que para um desenvolvimento sustentável dos oceanos é necessário um trabalho muito árduo, não só dos países, mas sobretudo da parceria com os outros países e sobretudo com as organizações internacionais que lidam com os assuntos do oceano. Nós já temos no nosso plano de ação para a expansão da biodiversidade marinha enquanto conservação, mas também enquanto um palco para a geração de renda para a nossa economia. Então, queria desejar a todos uma grande conferência sobre os nossos oceanos e, sobretudo, um grande espaço de parceria para partirmos para a ação. Na nossa língua dizemos que falamos demasiado. Este é o momento de agirmos para, de facto, protegermos os nossos oceanos, transformar os oceanos em fonte de renda para as nossas economias e, sobretudo, para as comunidades costeiras. Podemos desenvolver os nossos países também privilegiando a conservação daquilo que nós herdamos da natureza, que são os grandes oceanos. Uma boa conferência para todos.
Makofi, or a round of applause for my brother. Your Excellency, he spoke for just about 2 minutes. Makofi kwake. And the last speaker for this segment, Your Excellency, will be His Excellency Moses Vilakati, Commissioner for Agriculture, Rural Development, Blue Economy and Sustainable Environment, African Union Commission. Karibu, asante.
Thank you, Director of Ceremonies. Your Excellency, Professor Kithure Kindiki, Deputy President of the Republic of Kenya. Your Excellencies, former U.S. Secretary of State John Kerry, who is the founder of our ocean conferences, all protocols observed. It is a great honor for me to address this distinguished gathering on behalf of His Excellency Mohammed Ali Yusuf, the chairperson of the African Union Commission, and to convey his warm greetings and best wishes for the success of this important conference. Allow me at the outset to express the African Union's sincere appreciation to His Excellency President William Ruto, the government and the people of Kenya for hosting this 11th Ocean Conference and for demonstrating strong leadership and advancing ocean action, sustainable development, and the blue economy agenda. This being an inaugural our ocean conference in Africa, the AUC congratulates the Republic of Kenya for being the pathfinder and opening doors for the continent. Excellencies, honorable ministers, Africa is home to over 38 coastal and island states, more than 13 million square kilometers of maritime zones, vast inland water bodies, and some of the world's most productive marine and freshwater systems. These resources sustain millions of livelihoods, support trade and transport, provide food and nutrition, and offer immense potential for economic growth and prosperity. Yet, for many African countries, the full potential of these resources remains largely untapped. The African Union and its member states have demonstrated strong political commitment by adopting key continental frameworks, including the 2050 Africa Integrated Maritime Strategy, the Policy Framework and Reform Strategy for Fisheries, Aquaculture, and the African Blue Economy Strategy. These frameworks provide clear vision, clear policy direction. However, our collective challenge today is no longer about strategies and policies. Our challenge is implementation. This therefore requires stronger partnerships and collective actions. It requires investment in sustainable fisheries, aquaculture, maritime infrastructure, marine conservation, innovation, and ocean observation systems. It also requires the strengthening of our capacity to generate and utilize ocean data. It also ensures that women and the youth are not left behind, because that is very, very key behind our success to achieving Agenda 2063, which is the Africa that we want. That is why heads of states this year declared that it's a year for assuring water sustainability as well as sustainable sanitation. That shows that water is key, oceans are key. Therefore, it remains for us to make sure that we can fully utilize the water and the oceans for the benefit of our people. It is reminding us health of our ocean is inseparable from our future of economies, our societies,
our planet. It therefore calls upon us to ensure that ocean governance remains equitable, inclusive, science-based, and responsive to the needs of the present and the future generations. As we gather here, therefore, in Mombasa, let us renew our collective resolve to move beyond commitments and accelerate implementation through stronger partnerships, greater investment. Let us work together to ensure that our ocean continues to sustain our people, our prosperity, and peace. The AUC remains committed to assisting our member states for a better ocean and a better future. I thank you all.
Your Excellency, allow me very quickly to acknowledge the presence of the Committee of Parliament on Blue Economy, led by Honorable Bowen, the Chairman Simamatu Namnaiyo. Thank you. Thank you. And you know how important it is for me to recognize them here. Otherwise, if I go to Parliament, I'll be in trouble. Excellency, now I would request to hand over the program for the next segment. So Michael Gitonga will guide us, and thank you very much for listening, and may God bless you. Asante.
Thank you, Waziri. And with that, Your Excellency, the Deputy President, thank you so much for giving us your time graciously. We know you have a very busy program, and therefore, we've come to the end of this particular segment, and we have two items that we'd like to do. Number one is to wind up with the national anthem. After that, I'll request that we all take our seats as I invite the ministers present and the special envoys to take a family photo with His Excellency the Deputy President before I guide you on the procedure after that. So I'll request that we all be upstanding. We'll have the national anthem, the Kenyan national anthem, after which, please, let's maintain our positions as I will guide you. For now, let us have the national anthem. With that, I'll invite His Excellency, the Deputy President, together with the special envoys that have delivered a statement, ministers present, and the Governor Mombasa to kindly join His Excellency for the family photo. The rest of us, we can take our seats briefly, kindly. So I'll announce that again. It is His Excellency, the Deputy President, the special envoys that have delivered a statement, ministers present, and the Governor Mombasa to kindly join His Excellency, the Deputy President, for a family photo. The rest of us, I kindly request to take our seats. We shall be continuing briefly. I'll shortly hand over to my co-host, who is going to be leading us with the rest of the session, Mr. Nimrod Tabu. And we'll be taking a short break for tea, then come back for the plenary. So immediately after the family photo, we'll then be taking a short break for tea, then come back for the plenary. And allow me to invite Nimrod to just come and give us guidance for the sessions that are upcoming. Karibu Nimrod to just give us guidance on the rest. Thank you.
Thank you again. Thank you, Michael. Distinguished delegates, kindly hear me out. We'll break for tea shortly, but because time is far gone, I'd like us to have tea break for just about 20 minutes, and we're back in the hall to begin our plenary session number 1, which is on pathways to achieving 30 times 30 or 30 by 30 and protecting the high seas. All right. Meant to understand, we need to be back here at 12 noon exactly, which is about 17 or 15 minutes from now. Our VVIPs will have their tea break at Koi Lounge, and then the other VIP guests will have their teas at Tembo Restaurant. And then the other guests will have their teas at Afrem, which is near the gate, on your right as you go out. Kindly, let's be mindful of time. Let's have a tea break, and then let's come back here at 12 o'clock to begin our sessions. You're also being reminded that we have a flea market, which is a Maasai market. We're selling African attires. If you'd like to grab one, just to remember this summit and the fact that you came to Kenya and indeed Mombasa, please visit our exhibition booths at Kone Kone, selling the African attires and many other wares that you can take as souvenirs back home. Let's be back here at 12 o'clock. Enjoy your teas. Thank you.